This is River Roaring, celebrating the luminous life force in us all. Hello, darling. I'm River Roaring, and today I have a very special guest for you named Nicole Parish. I'm so excited. We could talk about a million different things between the two of us, and so we'll just pick out the most juicy tidbits just for you today. And we're going to talk about some really fun stuff. So, hi, Nicole.
Hello, River.
Hi.
It is such a pleasure to be in your home. I always love coming to it and sharing experiences and hearing about your experiences, and also we tend to create experiences together in this lifetime, so this being one of them.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
You are welcome, and I'm so blessed to have you in my life as an actual friend.
Yeah,
and
same.
sister.
It's very mutual. Thank you, River.
So, Nicole, what would you like to express first about your luminous life force in the world? Because you are so luminous. One of the most luminous beings I know in person.
Wow. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. So one of the things for me is professionally, I'm a psychic medium. And just even besides the professionally, I am highly intuitive and have been intuitive my whole life. And I've been very fortunate to pretty early on live a meaningful life. And I have a lot of clients who come to me and they say that something's lacking or they don't know what to do next in their life. And I feel a lot of times it comes down to, for some people, they don't know if they're living a meaningful life, or they know what they want to do, but they don't know how to get there, whether they need to leave their job and do a different job, leave their relationship, have a different kinds of relationships, whatever it might be. And I feel very, very grateful that I have often lived a life full of meaning. And I say that I came out of the womb in joy. So my baseline is joy. And I have a lot of happiness and contentment in my life. And it doesn't mean that I don't have challenges and struggles. And sometimes I'm like, what the heck am I doing in this world? And those are all part of our human experiences. And for me, part of my meaningful life is through my work. Whether I'm in the past, I would give messages to people and not get paid for it, and now I get paid for it. So beautifully compensated, not just with energy, but with money, or the energy of money. And so that's part of my luminous life that I feel so grateful that I get to do what I love, and it is so well received that I'm in this 2025 that however many decades ago, not that many decades ago, psychics were not thought well of.
Tried 2 or 3 years ago,
I know.
3 to 5 years ago.
How many times have we seen movies or TV shows where the psychic is a sham, is a charlatan?
Right.
And so when I started doing my work, I asked myself, do I want to be called an intuitive reader or a psychic? And I was like, oh, I'm going for psychic, because I wanted to reclaim that word.
Oh, how beautiful.
And so it was a very conscious decision, and I'm a psychic medium. And so just to say what the difference
Yeah,
is,
please do.
Psychic is someone, psychic is like an intuitive person, or that's just another word for it, where we get information from their system, from their energetic field, from the aura, or just information's coming to us, whether we hear something, we feel something, we sense something. And a medium is someone specifically who talks with loved ones who've crossed over, or spirits. And so I can do both. And I have, as a psychic, I have 3 specialties and then some subspecialties. And
Beautiful.
so everyone in their work will have, I'm thinking everyone in their work has a specialty. So if you're a tax accountant or an accountant, their specialty might be taxes. Or if you're a lawyer like you were, what was your specialty?
Family law.
Family law, that was your specialty. And you probably had subspecialties of that as well.
Yep.
So as a psychic, my 3 specialties are connecting with people's spirit guides. So that's my first and foremost. The second one is working with medical intuition. So people will come to me they don't know what's going on with their body, and I can give a medical read, knowing that I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a midwife, I'm not, a trained in
All
the medical
the
field. Yep, there we go. And but their spirit guides will tell me what's going on with their body as much as they're able to tell me at that time. Or I have doctors send their clients to me.
Oh my God,
where
that's
they
beautiful.
will say, I have a lot of that actually, and more, where they will say, we know what's going on, but there's something else going on. And these are obviously very open-minded doctors, or we have a dear homeopathic friend, Lizzie Martinez, who sends clients to me. And so I get to work with these people about, yes, they might have cancer or multiple sclerosis. Is there something else that we can support them through a different realm? And then the third thing is, which I've been doing for 25 years, is clearing entities, attachments, and demonic energies.
Oh my gosh.
And I say this with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
It is such a delight to be able to do this. I really like working in dark energies. And when I say dark, just like dark energies are fun realm for me, because it feels like, oh, we shine light in them, and I get so much more understanding and information about how the world works, how the spirit realm works, how I work, understanding about myself and others in these areas. And so for me, 25 years ago, I lived in an incredibly haunted apartment complex on the east side of Austin. And it took my husband and I, was my husband, it took us 4 years to, I will say, escape there. We had a young child there, and we were regularly physically attacked. It was like, I would often say, if someone would tell me these stories, I wouldn't actually believe them. And but these things happened, and people,
You were already obviously psychic at the time.
Yes, so I've
you
been
were
psychic
perceiving
since
all of it.
I've been psychic since I was born.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing it, but I didn't have the development that I have now, and I didn't understand entities, even though I'd had experience with entities. And in this case, when I talk about entities, I talk about beings that are low vibrational energies.
Okay.
And so,
That's helpful.
which can be conscious or non-conscious. So a
Okay,
non-conscious,
that's helpful. How beautiful.
a non-conscious entity could feel to me like a blob stuck to someone.
Yeah.
And they're really easy to release, whether someone comes to me to release them and I teach that person how, and then they go forward in their life. They may never need to see me again. I've taught them how to fish. They can fish on their own, which is, I love doing that, sharing what I know, and if something resonates with that person, they pick it up and then they go out and do it themselves. It's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Conscious entities are ones who know what they're doing. And so, and it might appear to me as human shape or insect shape, or some kind of moving blob, but I can tell that it has consciousness. And it used to be, many decades ago, I would bind them in light and love, or have spirits come in and help me bind them in light and love, which I still do that, and send them on their way. But what I realized is I was missing a really valuable opportunity there, which was to talk with them. So I now talk with these entities and ask, how did you attach to the person? So it might be that the person went through a trauma. Or like one man, I said, I can see you were in a really intense car accident and you almost died, correct? And he goes, yes. And I said, I can see that's when this demonic being attached to you. Now, many of us are in car accidents, and even very intense ones, and we get no attachment. So I just want to say that. But for that, that happened.
They do look for those openings,
Yes.
right? Those
Yes.
weak points, those weak moments.
Yeah. And so with this particular gentleman, and he's in Europe, and a therapist, and just a lovely, lovely man. And I say a therapist because they're the number one profession of people who see me are therapists, psychoanalysts, counselors, and I love that.
That is so interesting, because I also
love
have that
that.
in my practice.
Do you? It is.
Yeah, I have
these people
therapists
are like,
right now.
yeah,
Good.
like let's go to a deeper level. Let's do our work.
I think they already know they want to do their work, and
Yep.
they're ready for new modalities outside
Yes.
of their own.
Yeah. So this gentleman came to me, and I could see that he had a car accident and then a demonic being attached to him, or was around him. And he had this for many, many, many years. And when he came to me, I said, so one of the things I want to ask you is, what are you getting from this? Because I could tell
to the
that
entity.
it was, no, I asked the man.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
I asked the man.
Okay, thank you.
Because I could tell it was a mutually beneficial relationship as well as a harmful relationship. And he's like, well, I'm not getting anything from it. And I said, I invited him to take a breath. And I said, let's go deeper into that question. Ask, what are you getting out of it? And then he started crying, and he said, you know, there are many times in my life I feel powerless, but I know this thing is next to me and I feel powerful with it. And I was like, oh, so beautiful. And so I explained to him that when some entities or demonic beings have been attached to us for a very long time, there is a symbiotic relationship, or there can be, and that it can be like an abusive relationship. And so if I go to, we've all known someone who is in a toxic or abusive relationship. If we go to them and say, pack your bags right now and move out, well, that actually could be harmful to them. They didn't prepare.
That's right.
They need to have their support system around them. They need to gather all their stuff, look at why they're with them to begin with, and start that healing or continue that healing. So when I work with someone who has had an attachment for a very long time, I help them build up their foundation so that they can prepare to leave. So that they can prepare to move this demonic being on or this entity on.
Wow.
And in saying that, most people do not have a demonic or really intense
We're
entity.
Not trying to scare anyone here.
This is those are extreme situations, and ones that I feel
exist.
They totally
exist.
They absolutely exist.
It's important.
Yeah. And so circling back 25 years ago in this haunted apartment complex, myself, my husband, my son were repeatedly attacked. We had to kept going to the doctors. So the chiropractor, our ribs would be popped out, which is very painful, very, very painful.
My gosh.
And at one point, the chiropractor debated whether or not to report us to CPS.
Oh, geez.
And she was fantastic.
You couldn't really explain this
well,
with the kid.
I would say she saved my life.
Wow.
So, and I'll say that in a moment, but just to explain,
wow,
so many people in the apartment complex were being really harmed by these spirits. People are calling in shamans, priests, like all sorts of holy people to clear the place. The place would be cleared, and then more would come in. And this is where I learned about portals. I had no idea about portals before this. One person ended up dying, and then another person died. And then my chiropractor so beautifully said, I've been debating whether to report y'all to CPS. And she said, but I realize it's you, your husband, and your son are all being hurt here. And the only thing I can wrap my brain around is that y'all are being attacked by entities. Is that what's happening?
Whoa.
Yes. So I cried and I go, yes, that is what's happening. And this was years. There's so many stories. This was 4 years in. There's so many stories. My son would wake up screaming. My 2-year-old son would wake up screaming in the middle of the night going, they're on me, they're on me. The spiders are on me. And it was just terrifying. I didn't, as a mom, what do I do? And so she taught me. She taught me how to clear entities.
I got chills that she was able to do that for you. Chiropractor.
And so I still do what she taught me, but I've adjusted it over the years to what works best for me or the client I'm working with, or when I'm working with a client, their spirit guide will come in and say, oh, tweak it this way or do it this way. I'm very grateful. And even though I was in a situation that felt hopeless and desperate, and oddly enough, we spent thousands of dollars trying to fix this situation.
Sure.
So it also took a lot of financial that we did not have. We were so dirt poor back then.
And then you couldn't move.
And then
because the money was always being stretched out.
Yes. And through that, it's such an interesting thing that I have so much joy around it. I'm so grateful, and I've learned a lot from these entities and demonic beings. I've learned a lot. That does not mean that I'm like the lion, or that I'm in the lion's den. I'm like, oh, let's be all nice and cute, lion. No, I'm still going to protect myself. I still protect my clients and teach them how to protect themselves. And I send these entities and demonic beings on. And in the process, I've always learned so much. And I think of them as, in my belief system, we're all headed towards the light.
Yes.
And so that means the demonic beings are also headed towards the light. I could be airy-fairy about this, or rose-colored glasses, and that's incorrect. That's not how that works. That's just how I have it in my belief system.
I totally believe it too. Maybe a couple of eons for some, or something.
Eons.
It's not necessarily tomorrow, but I have that belief as well.
Yeah. And that's why I work on the light and love vibration, sending them on to wherever's for the highest and best of all concerned, including the demonic.
Beautiful.
And with that overall intention that as much as my power, which I have very little power, but I have some power.
A lot.
In a human form,
Yeah.
I have little power compared to, the spirits that I work with, but I am part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel honored to be part of it. But that intending that they can't hurt others, but I have no control of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the...
But wait, what is the number one thing you've learned from demons and negative entities? I mean, what's an example?
Is that there's a reason why they can attach to people. So that person might have some part of themselves that needs to heal or shift. A demonic being in general won't attach to someone. This is so interesting. I was about to say something. I'm talking with myself now whether to say this or not, because I've never thought it before. In some cases, it's almost like that's what that person needed to heal or shift something. I'm going to change the wording even more because I just heard it intuitively. It's in some cases that was the road that was really, really hard for that person, but they took that opportunity to do some deep healing. And it's not like the demon came in and go, oh, you need to be healed and I'm going to attach myself to you.
Yeah, let me help you.
Yeah, like that's not what's happening, but it's this symbiotic relationship. I've also gone into many buildings, restaurants, houses, and cleared them, and that is really, really interesting. And if there's demonic stuff in a building, it often has to do with the owners of the building or the activities that have happened there. So I've cleared like a 5,000 square foot building outside of Austin. I cleared a restaurant of these men, lovely, lovely men. They own over 50 restaurants. And
did you clear all the 50 chains?
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Like that would
they
be...
did not need it. I was called in to clear one particular restaurant. And when I'm called in to clear a building, I do not go into the building first. I meet outside of the building or even a couple blocks away, because when I go into that building, I want to be prepared. Because usually if someone's calling me into a building, there's demonic or really intense stuff.
Yeah.
And so for that particular fantastic group of men, oh, my heart just like cracked open for them. It was 3 men, and we met at a park 2 blocks away. So I'd never been to that building. And I said, okay, first thing is your guides are telling me that they want to talk about the building, but there's a spirit here who, I said, I don't know if you own any other restaurants, because I didn't know at that time, but she says she's from another restaurant you own and you know about her, and clients come or patrons come and know about her, and everyone loves her. And I said, she's Russian, she has a red dress, and they're like, oh, we know exactly who you're talking about. And I said, she is lovely, and she's like a guardian of the lost spirits there. There are quite a number of ghosts in that place, and they're just lovely. And they're like, yes, we totally know her. So she was great, and she asked for a little bit of help, and so I helped her. She was not ready to cross over, but I did help her with some stuff. And then I got to clear the building that they actually called me in for, which was quite intense and very doable.
Have you ever been scared?
Oh, absolutely. So when I lived in the apartment complex, I was repeatedly scared. So I'm going to actually shift to the question was, have I been scared when I know some of what I'm doing.
Yeah, lately, when in your...
Oh, lately?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually in the last 2 years, there were 2 experiences that I was genuinely scared. And both experiences I knew they were really intense demonic, and also some ghosts. Actually, quite a number of ghosts, and ghosts are fine. I'm not scared of ghosts. And entities in that 5,000 square foot building. So I called on someone to come with me and had her do something specific that I don't have the skill set for. I did not want her particularly in the building. I wanted her to do it outside the building. As my skill sets are working with demons. That's not her. So I didn't want her in the building. But her skill set is laying crystal grids. And so, and that's not my skill set. So I called her in to do that on the roof of the building.
And she's doing that energetically, right? Energetically laying the crystals.
So she physically laid a crystal grid, and she intuitively picked all the crystals. And what was interesting is she figured out later why she chose those, which was great. And that is, I love crystals, but I don't have the knowledge that she has at all. And so afterwards, the owner was talking about what he wanted for the building. So I worked with the past, what was in there, what has been in there. And then what we didn't realize at the time is she was working with the future. So what he wanted to bring into the building, and all her crystals were aligned with what he wanted. So that building, there was a couple of scary moments in that.
What scares you these days? That's kind of what I'm driving at there. Like, tell us about it. I mean.
So being surprised by a demon. So in that particular building, I turned a corner and started walking down a hallway, but like a step and a half, and I got hit by demonic energy. So I didn't get hit by a demon,
like
but by the
sucker
demonic.
Punch you.
Yeah, and I was shocked, and I did a yell, and I came back out, and I went, "Whoa, that's where the demonic energy is." And the man said, "Yes, that is where people are afraid to go." And so it momentarily scared me, and also to have it move on was so beyond my human skills, which I'm fine with because I have a beautiful team of spirits to work with. It is something that I knew it could have harmed me because I have physically been harmed, spiritually been harmed. I've been harmed in multiple ways, emotionally been harmed way, way, way long ago. And it brought up this fear of like, and so there was that fear. And I realized I needed something that I knew I didn't have access to at that point. And so I went into the kitchen where it was, and Archangel Michael came in. And it was quite a moment for me. I will see angels who, if they come in for other people, but I am not one. I talk with spirit guides. I'm not one to call on angels. I love angels. It's not my go-to. Just like fairies are wonderful, they're not my go-to. And some people are surrounded by fairies. And I love when they come in as clients because I get to meet all these fairies. So Archangel Michael came in, and I felt so humbled. And I've met him before, but rarely. And he came in and taught me how to close a portal. He said, "You're closing it, but you're not, what's the word? Dissolving it." He said, "It's like you're closing the portal to make it like a size of a marble, but you have to dissolve it." And so he taught me how to do that. And he taught me how to move the demon on with his sword. And so if he hadn't come in, the moment before he came in, I was scared because I went, this is beyond my capacity and my spirit team's capacity, this particular demon. And he came in. And since then, I've been to that building 2 or 3 other times to do like a spring cleaning. And it's felt wonderful. And one of the times I went in, it's 3 stories tall. And I said, "Oh, they're talking about a water leak upstairs." And I'm talking to the man. And he's like, "No, we have no water leak." And I said, "I actually think you have a water leak and it's coming from the roof." And he's like, well, let's go upstairs. And one of his tenants, he rents out the rooms, had put a trash can where water was in it, like a foot high. And he goes, oh, there's a water leak. And so the building's building especially, it's over 100 years old. It has a spirit itself. The building itself is a being. Your house that we're in right now.
It's from the 1800s.
Yeah.
That's how it is also.
Your house is a being itself. It's a living, like I can feel the heartbeat expanding and contracting of your house itself.
So beautiful.
And so the spirit of buildings talk with me. And so the spirit of that building was saying, I have a water leak. Can you please take care of it? So that was one time I was afraid.
Thank you.
And then there was another time I was afraid in the last couple of years, and where this man was, I would say, well, actually, it's not, I would say, he is possessed. And it was very intense. And the scary part about it is, and I would tell him, I said, I don't think you're ready to release this demon,
that's what I was wondering.
which makes it dangerous for me.
That's what I was wondering.
Yep.
I figured as much. That he didn't, at some level, didn't want to release that. So I'm imagining, no, you couldn't do anything. Just, okay, no, it's a no for now.
Yep. And I've had a couple of people who, someone will say, hey, this person I think has entities, or this person has demonic or some kind of attachment. I don't even know, will you work with them? And I can feel if they're not ready, I'm a no. Because one, they're a no on some level. And also, consent's a thing. Wow. And then also, it can be dangerous for me.
Yeah.
So I have gone in to go, okay, well, I'll help you. And then I'm attacked.
Yeah. And the human is on their side, basically. Yeah. So it's like, what can you do?
Yeah.
There's no one helping you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we started off with such a heavy topic.
Okay, but thank you for those. It was exciting.
So those are the original thing was, as a psychic, I have three specialties.
Yeah.
And,
thank you.
And even though that might have felt heavy, I'm so grateful for each of those. Talking with people's spirit guides, medical intuition, and clearing entities and attachments. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I want to ask a couple. So I have seen you before, and as far as I know, what we were mainly doing is talking to my spirit guides. And it was such a more than once, and it's such a beautiful and heavenly experience. I do want to just encourage everyone to see you or someone who has real skills there.
Thank you.
My understanding is every human being has the capacity for these kinds of hearing, knowings, and seeing things that are beyond what we think of as our senses. But what a delight and gift to be able to sit with you and just directly hear from different guides. And I know for the first time I was like, I don't have any questions. I just want to know what they have to say. What on earth?
Yes.
Because after all these years, I've never heard from them before. What's pent up, and you were just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They have this to say, that to say, da, 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 da. They want to tell you this, da, da, da. It was so fun and beautiful. And I've certainly developed deeper relationships with my own guides since I met you, and I've been more than once to see you. And that is such a beautiful process. So gorgeous. And
thank you.
Is there anything you want to share about specifically spirit guides with the audience so they know?
Yeah, so I want to say something of what you said, which you said it's your understanding that everyone gets messages or something like that. And I just want to emphasize that from my understanding, what I see, everyone is intuitive to different amounts, different kinds of abilities, and very importantly, different desires. So I've known people who are highly intuitive, but because of their background, their religion, they might have an accountant brain, they're like, or some other kind of brain that they're like,
that malady.
that doesn't, they're like, that just doesn't interest me, or it scares me, or whatever, or I don't believe in it, even though I can see they're so intuitive. And that's everyone's choice.
Yeah, we have free will, and we have to honor that above all.
Absolutely. And so there are different ways to get information, like tons of different ways. So when I was 3 years old is the first time I remember seeing a spirit. And when I was really young, I could see them with my physical eyes. And over time, that went away, and I can see them now with my third eye. And I don't even have to be looking in the direction. I could be totally turned around, and I can still see them with my third eye. And then when I was 8 years old, I remember talking with a spirit. I could see them, I could hear them, and I could feel their emotions. So those are three different
Clairs.
different clairs. Well done, like clairsentient, clairaudio, and different clairs. And then I also have intuitive gut feelings or gut knowing. That's my least developed skill, actually. But I also get physical information. So when I do medical intuition, I will often feel the person's cancer, or I will often feel the prolapsed bladder. Or 1 week I had 3 people who had toe fungus, and I felt it, which was just so funny. And every person had shame around it. So there's the toe fungus, and then there's the shame. So it's really.
Do you get all of it? You get the shame too? You're
I
feel it. And
so
I also feel the other things.
I physically felt the toe fungus, and I emotionally felt the shame. And so it was the shame. There was the opportunity to work with that.
Do you worry about your body and health?
So
Feeling everyone's conditions. That's really very dangerous sounding, at least.
It's not dangerous. I had a beautiful experience probably 20 years ago where someone was getting a session from me, and she got a session. She's like, I don't know why, but I keep getting canker sores, the sores inside your mouth.
Okay.
She's like, I get them, and I'm sure there's some emotional reason to it because I've tried all the physical stuff, taking the supplements, everything. So we do a session. At that point in my life, I'd never ever had a canker sore. I had my first canker sore right after that session. And I was so grateful.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you said grateful. I was sitting here thinking I'd be so pissed.
I was so
Please,
grateful.
Luminous One, share your gratitudes on this.
That I learned that I absolutely have to clear my energetic fields or things can stay inside me. And a canker sore, how easy is that? I just get rid of it.
At least it was something small.
That's what I was so grateful for.
I see the gratitude.
I was so grateful. It wasn't like I was feeling someone's cancer.
I know, stage 4 something.
Yes, and it was just like, canker sore, well, that's doable. I can do that. And so I'm really good at clearing myself.
Okay.
And not just clearing myself, say psychically, like I'm calling down the highest frequency of light to come and clear all low vibrational energies, and calling in whatever energies from my highest and best, or whatever intuitive or spiritual way I might clear myself. But also I go for walks, I take showers, I putter around with my plants. These are all different ways. Like, it doesn't have to be meditation, toning, psychic stuff to clear someone's energy. We're all clearing our energy every day in different ways. I love playing cards. Almost every day I play cards. It resets my nervous system and it does some clearing in me.
I love that point. I love the idea that we are, even if we're not aware of energies, we have energy.
Yep.
We are energy.
Yes.
But you don't have to even be aware of it to understand that, like, I can relax my nervous system, like you said. I can take a hot bath. I can elevate my mood.
Yes.
I can relax. I can quiet my mind. And these are all things that you don't have to even say the word energy or think about energy.
No.
And yet you can relax your energy that way and actually clean your energy.
Yeah.
That's not just like a figure of speech or like not connected. You're actually clearing your energy to relax, take a hot bath, get a nice cup of hot tea.
Yes, absolutely.
Go into nature.
Love it.
Best.
I call that energetic hygiene. So when we were young,
Beautiful.
We were raised up, learned to brush our teeth, take a bath, wash our clothes, clean our space. But many of us, including myself, were not taught how to clear our energetic fields. And But we naturally, like you just named off some beautiful ways, we naturally do that throughout the day. Taking our bath, having a hot tea, a cup of tea for me, and lighting incense, and taking a few deep breaths are classic ways that are very effective and very fast effective for me.
That's so beautiful.
And people do energetic hygiene without even thinking of the word energy. You don't have to think of the word energy. And but you would ask about spirit guides, and so when I talk with people's guides, they come in and they share about the person's personality, their lives, what's going on, possibly their childhood, their future, maybe other lifetimes. And I get information through, they'll give me visuals, they'll use words. I might hear the word, I often see words written in the right hemisphere, right outside my head. I don't see it I will often see pictures diagonal in the right hemisphere, or I don't know how to describe this space right here.
Yeah, but it's outside of your body.
Yes.
And slightly to the right.
Yes, slightly
next to your head.
To the right and in front of my body.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of my activity happens. I will hear things there. I will see words. I will see visions or little movie clips. And then I will feel the emotions inside of me and the physical sensations inside of me. So last week I have a client come in and I said, "Oh, who in your family has died of throat cancer?" And that's the very first thing, like, because I kept having to clear my throat all of a sudden, and I felt like there was something similar to cancer. And so I said the first thing that came to my mind, excuse me, just like I was like that. And she said, "No one." And I said, "Oh, I'm going to amend it. Someone died of emphysema." And she goes, "Oh, that's my uncle." And she said her uncle's name. And I said, "Well, he's here, but he said that's not his name." And she goes, "Oh yeah, that's not what we call him. We call him," and then she said his nickname. But how I first received it was thinking it was throat cancer.
Yeah.
And within like a millisecond later, I went, "Oh no, it's emphysema. It's
lower.
emphysema." But it highly affected his breathing. He had to keep clearing his throat.
Yeah.
So I physically felt it, and then I saw and heard the word emphysema. And sometimes I help find missing children and work with unsolved murder cases.
Wow.
And that is not a specialty of me. That is other psychic specialties, and I'm so grateful that they're out there, because that is hard work. And I'm talking emotionally hard work. It's actually very easy for me to get information that way. When I have been called to do that, the information comes very fast and it's very accurate.
Wow.
And that I will get is really based on physical and emotional and visual. Actually, yeah, it's the physical and emotional that can really send me to therapy afterwards.
With a missing child, who knows what could be there.
Yeah. So I was called on a case of, there was a serial murderer and they didn't know where he was. And so I saw immediately where he was.
The child or the murderer?
The murderer and serial killer. I saw immediately where he was. That case sent me to therapy, or I chose to go to therapy afterwards, because of the things that I was shown that he did to the children. And because of how I saw his soul was. I had never in my life seen a soul like his. And his spirit is the one that came to me and gave me all the information, not the spirit of some of the dead children. It was his spirit. And he said, "I was possessed before I was even born, and I would have never done any of this. And this is part of how I'm making amends to give you all this information."
To talk to you.
Yeah. And they found him within, I think it was like half an hour.
I'm so stunned by that one.
Yeah. And
why doesn't every police department use you or someone like this if they have an unsolved case? I mean, I can answer that as far as ridiculousness.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that.
Simple non-belief.
And also, I happen to be very fortunate that when I've worked on these cases, they've given me really accurate information.
Yeah.
But if I did it regularly, I don't know how, I mean, they might hire me and I maybe won't get very accurate information all the time. But I remember one of the last, no, it wasn't the last, several years ago, I was asked to help find a missing girl. And in that, I typically talk with the parents, but in that case, I don't know who the parents were. I don't even know what state. I still don't know what state she was in. She was in the U.S. I knew that, and I saw right away. Psychically, I saw a map, and I said, her house. She is 2 miles northwest direction of her house. She's on a wharf. She's on the dock of, there's a restaurant on the pier, and the restaurant has the word wharf in it. She's on the left side of the building, and and I only want to know the person's name. I don't want to know anything about them, because it's really important that the spirits tell me about them, so I know that I'm getting accurate information.
Cool.
And the people know I'm getting accurate information. So I just got her name, and I said, oh, she's older. She's like 15, but she has the capabilities of like a 7-year-old. I said she feels maybe she's autistic, highly autistic, and they said actually she has Down syndrome. And I said, and she ran away, correct? And they go, yep. And I said, she's really scared. She's very low on her iron medicine. And they go, yeah, she's iron depleted. And I said, she's hungry, she's scared, she's cold, she will be found. And I think they found her within an hour. I said, just go to that restaurant. She's there. She's literally on the left side of the restaurant. And in that case, these cases always have something in it for me personally. And in that case, so it was her spirit guides who came in and told me where she was. And the spirit guide says, we want to tell you why she ran away. And it was that she was being abused. And so then,
by a parent? By one of the people basically who had hired you?
yes.
And then what did you
well,
do
no,
then?
the parents didn't hire me.
Oh, you said they didn't.
Yeah.
What did you do with this new information that
so
you
that
kind
was
of weren't
it was
hired
actually
for,
their,
sort of?
Yeah, it was their rabbi who reached out to me. Their rabbi had heard about me. And again, I don't even know
Which
what
is
state.
interesting in itself.
Yeah,
but,
it is interesting. And
what did you do with the information?
So the spirit guides told me what to do, but one of the things was this to do a specific prayer for her, which in my like wanting to protect the girl, I'm like, that's not enough. And the spirit guide said, actually, it's part of it. Just say this. And so I did a specific prayer for her and then passed on some information. But my thing was, do I call CPS? Do I call the police? Because I'm in connection with the rabbi. And that was something I sat with for quite a while, because I didn't know if it was accurate information. And how do you
Didn't even think about that aspect, but you wouldn't want to be accidentally.
I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
So report
about
someone
like
to
a
CPS.
major crime.
Yep. Report someone to CPS when they may be loving, beautiful parents, and it could have been an uncle who was abusing her, or it could, I could be wrong. So it's a really interesting tightrope sometimes that us psychics do, where we'll get information, and first and foremost, I know my perception can be off. And so what to say and how to say it is a really important part of my job. Like, I will sometimes see that someone has cancer, but I would never tell them they have cancer, because that would be out of alignment with my integrity. Because one, I could be wrong, and two, I have no support system to give them. None. So when a doctor tells someone they have cancer, there's the nurses, there's the doctor's plans, there's the hospital, there's the holistic, there's all the, I have no support system. So when I see someone has colon cancer, I will say something like, so they're highly recommending you go get a colonoscopy, preferably this week, or something like that.
Yeah, just
or
little urgent pin on it.
Yeah, and it feels, and I might say, and it feels rather urgent. Because also, like I said to that one client last week, where I said, who died of throat cancer? Well, he didn't have throat cancer. But that was my initial perspective, which was incorrect. But then, literally, like a millisecond later, later, it was actually emphysema.
Yeah.
Which, so I knew there was something going on, and I got there. But it is an interesting thing of what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And I remember this one 19-year-old, she did a session with me. She came on screen, and right when I saw her, I heard she will be dead within 6 months. And so how to support her through that with not saying, I see that you're about to cross over. Because
I just am, what I want to really, what I'm noticing is that, and I've this just is in front of me, is that, okay, lots of people these days, more and more, I think, are able to hear and see messages that most of us can't. But the really big question is, who is the person who is giving you that information, and what are their filters, and what is their integrity, and what do they decide to do with all the information, and what do they do when and with whom with those skills. It's such an artistry in how you develop and use the skills you have. It's not at all just like, oh, 10 people have the same skills. Oh, they're the same. No, not at all.
Yeah.
You must have had to develop over so many years your own ethics, your own integrity, your own policies. And I don't think there are that many colleges teaching this.
No, they're not. There is no certified board.
No school, no certifying board.
That is correct. There is no certification board, which I'm very glad about.
Yeah, I like that, but...
And also, almost everyone who's come to me who has seen a psychic before has beautiful stories, and I just get so lit up. And there are so many skilled psychics, intuitives, tarot readers, astrologers, like so many. And occasionally I will hear of some really harmful things that a psychic has said to someone. And that's when I'm like, oh, I wish there was a board that I could report them to. But that's very rare.
Yeah.
And, or very rare in my experience.
Yeah.
So for me, talking about my own integrity and moral compass and how and what I say to people, and my policy, and first and foremost, consent. It is so important. I remember I was even doing a group reading where it was like 13 people that I'm giving a group psychic reading to. And there were numerous people who were so psychic in that group, so intuitive. And I could tell one woman was giving intuitive messages when people may not want to hear it. And so her guides were telling me to talk with her in this group reading. And I said, oh, I see you're really, really intuitive. And one of the things that I've learned over the years, don't know if this will help you, is to ask permission to see if someone wants to hear it. And she said, well, often they don't want to hear it. And I said, yeah. So I hear sometimes some people don't want to hear it, and that's their choice. And so you're welcome to reach out to me, and I can share some of my wording that I've figured out or heard over the years to do. And so the consent is so important. So yesterday, all these people came for a psychic reading in the group reading. And then there was this one man I came to, he was next. And I heard his guide said, ask him if he wants a reading, which I don't usually do if someone's coming for a group psychic reading.
Yeah,
and
because they've said yes in a way, but
they've
you got
said
that
yes.
message.
That's literally what they've come for. And I said, so I here to ask you if you would like to hear the message. And he's like, I don't know. And I said, thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass then. Are you okay if I come back later to check in with you? He's like, yeah. And I came back later, and he was a yes, and then I shared the message.
That's really strong. He could have been there from peer pressure. He could have been there because his wife wanted him to go.
He was there with his wife.
Yeah. Usually
and he said,
somebody wants the other one to be there when they're a couple.
Exactly. And he goes, I'm here for my wife, and I really want her to get a message. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I gave her a message. I will say his message came through really strong for me. And I'm
happy that he was receiving that later.
Yeah. And I said, I see that you have many grandchildren. I see them climbing all over you. And he's like, oh yeah, they had like 18 grandchildren or something. And he didn't look that old to me. So I was I actually didn't know if I was correct or not on this one. And I said, and I see one of your grandchilds has little angel wings, which tells me he's crossed over. Is that correct? And he goes, yeah, we have a grandbaby crossed over. And it was just, and And that grandbaby was like, please give Grandpa this message that I'm climbing on him too.
Oh,
I know.
I'm so happy he heard that.
I know.
Oh,
it's
my
just so
goodness.
beautiful. But part of me is like, I really want him to say yes to this message. And
Yeah.
then part of me is like, it's more important that I honor that he's a yes or a
Yeah,
no.
it's not your free will on that one.
It is not.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that area, Nicole, because what do you, I've been curious about this myself. I work with clients, and I'm big into consent. And there are also times where, like, over many, many years, like, especially when I'm sitting with someone and they all of a sudden I realize, wow, they're going through a moment where they need a lot of help just as they process or think of something or something. And I'll just put a protective bubble around us, and just give that space in the bubble there. But lately, I've been wondering, is that non-consensual if I didn't ask? May I put a bubble around us, which I haven't. And then I've also been looking at situations where I'm not doing this right now as much, but no, I do this. And other people do it where they're like, oh, I'm going to send these people love and light, but they didn't ask for it. Or like someone says, my cousin's in the hospital. And then like, oh, well, I will send them healing. They didn't ask for it. Mm-hmm. So there's bubbles. There's just sending love and light. Someone recently, one of my guides was saying, I'm sending energy for whatever's in the highest and best for you. How do you do that? I can imagine someone saying, don't send anything. Don't do anything unless you ask them. Not even love, not even healing, quote unquote. Or maybe every single time attach highest and best. And so tell me what you think about my bubbles, my totally non-consensual bubbles of protection, which I think work because I always feels really juicy in there, and like something, they go deeper, they're able to just kind of go deeper, but maybe that's something I should be talking about first. How do you get consent or not around sharing energy, even something as simple as love or quote unquote healing or highest and best?
These are such juicy topics for me.
Okay.
And I've talked about them a lot, except the bubble. No one's ever asked me about the bubble thing before. So I'll start with the bubble first. I have changed on this. Okay. Actually, I've changed on both of those things. So the bubble used to be that when I do sessions with people, I say I'm calling in people's spirit guides and angels and helpers. I'm putting a bubble of protection and boundaries around both of us. Well, I now have changed that to I'm putting bubbles and protection around each of us individually.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's better, one way is better than the other, but for me, it's better to keep my energy contained over here.
I think that's very strong.
Versus them receiving my energy in their bubble or their... Because what happens is sometimes people who are highly intuitive might start reading me. And I didn't give them permission. I find it very violating. And this is very rare, by the way, that someone will read me. In general, my energetic field is up where they might be able to get some information, but not much. But if they ask permission, I might be a yes. But also, this is their turn to receive. It's their time.
Yeah, if it's their session.
Yeah, it's their session. It's their time. So it feels better to me at this moment in time to put up individual bubbles. Now, your question of you didn't ask them. I have this underlining intention, and I'm very clear with it, that I have with my spirit guides, with myself, with my higher self, that whatever energy I say, only if the person accepts it. So if I say I'm putting a bubble of protection and boundaries around them before we start the session, and their higher self or their human self is like, I'm a no to that, great. Fantastic to know. It will not happen. These are what I say, these are all invitations or suggestions of what I'm doing. I'm calling on their angels. Well, if the angel doesn't want to come in, the angel's not going to come in.
Well, they can take care of themselves there to some extent, but
right?
but I'm hearing you say, verbal.
Yes. So I will
That's not an
verbally-
energetic, like, I'll energetically ask them if they want the bubble, and if I don't get it, energetic. Or saying, my bubble will go if it's wanted, you're just doing all that energetically. That's not what you're doing.
Yeah, I do everything
Verbal.
I do all of that out loud,
Yeah.
and then when I clear entities and attachments, or if we're doing a healing thing or balancing chakras or whatever, I'm saying everything out loud. And before I say it,
Yeah.
if I remember, I don't always remember to say it, I say this is all an invitation. Just like you've led me and other people through visualizations and guided meditations. This is all an invitation.
Yeah.
I might say imagine
Yeah.
white light coming down when you're actually imagining blue gentle light coming up from the earth.
Yeah.
So follow yourself
Beautiful.
on this. And as far as sending prayers or energy
Yeah,
to
prayers. People do that all the time.
All the
I
time.
mean,
I think
we're
it's-
taught that, so, quote unquote.
and I think it is beautiful and lovely with consent. So how I do it,
Yeah, how do
and
you
this
do
is how
this?
I've changed.
This is big.
This is how I change over the years. I just, similar to with the bubbles of energy or protection and boundaries, I will say if the person wants it. So I might say a
preface
prayer for someone's mom in the hospital, and I will call to the mom's higher self and say, I'm sending energy your way. You're welcome to receive it. If not, I intend it goes to the next person who is a yes to receiving it, or goes down to Mother Earth.
Oh, that's really thorough.
That's how and I've done this for quite a while now, that's how I do it.
And that's all verbal. Or is that in you?
Well,
So what if someone, what
Yeah.
if, let's say you get a text from your cousin that's a group text.
Yeah.
And it says, send prayers to Grandma.
yeah.
But Grandma hasn't said that.
Grandma hasn't said that. And in most cases, I would say in most cases, people are a yes to receiving energy help.
Yeah.
Yet, when you asked if it's verbal, when I send energy, when I do energetic work, I most of the time say it out loud because I work with frequencies.
Yeah.
So it has more oomph, more
Yeah.
power.
There's a
and
lot
I'm
of
in a-
power in our voice. There's
Yes.
so much power in our words and our voice.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And I'm in more alignment. I become in alignment as I'm saying the words. So I'll give an example, and you've heard this. I'm going to say a bit of my opening. Are you okay with that?
Please.
When I call in?
That's beautiful.
And some people might be able to, or the invitation is to see if they feel a frequency with it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Calling upon my spirit guides, angels, helpers, and loved ones. Calling upon rivers, spirit guides, welcome. Angels, welcome. Helpers, welcome. And loved ones who've crossed over, welcome. Putting bubbles of protection and boundaries around river and myself. Only that which is 100% of the light and love vibrations may enter our bubbles, 100% for the highest and best. Accessing my higher self, River's higher self, the highest frequencies available. Please let me be a vehicle of love, guidance, and healing, and guide me along the way. Thank you.
All right, listeners, could you feel that one? I so feel that. I was seeing things as well, but I really appreciate you modeling that. That's just the most beautiful way to communicate with how that's done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's what I do in the opening. My opening used to be shorter, but I find longer openings before I give a session. So I'm with the client. Longer openings work better for me because I get more in alignment. I let go of what I had for breakfast or my shopping
You're
list.
getting
I'm transitioning big time into psychic space. So because I did that, I'm more in psychic space. So I got some messages.
feel
for
like
you?
sharing anything?
I'm gonna cough. Yeah.
I could feel people showing up.
Yeah,
so
your mom came in really. She
Did
was the first.
she?
Yeah, she's here. She's the first one here. And so I can see her. So she's right here.
she came right
And then
in.
I can right in so fast, and then I can feel her as well. So it's like she's like, would you like to hear
Please, yes.
Yeah,
This is about you, but we're showing what you do.
So it's interesting because you've shared a little bit about your mom, but I don't actually know how she was in the emotional realm.
Yeah.
So it feels like she's saying it feels like funny when she says it. She's like, I'm learning self-regulation. And she said I should have listened to you all along, but she's like joking, she's laughing, she's like, she feels so light. I can tell she has laid burdens down. Like I can just, she's like, well, I'm finally learning self-regulation. But she's talking emotions. Like it almost feels like the emotions were so intense and she was ping-ponging inside, and it was really hard for her on this. In that realm, in this human world, it feels like she was out of control and tried to control things intensely.
Yeah.
And just feeling so much compassion for her sweet, sweet soul. She's a sweet woman who maybe didn't always come off as sweet.
Yeah.
Like a kind woman who maybe didn't have the tools to be able to release certain things to bring her kindness forward.
Oh, so beautiful, Nicole. Thank you so much for bringing that through.
Yeah.
And you're saying that she said, I'm learning self-regulation, and she herself now felt a little more playful and light about that sentence.
Yeah.
It wasn't the current ping-ponging. It's like,
No.
she's like, yeah.
Yeah, so she was ping-ponging as a human, and now as a spirit, she's laughing, and she's doing a jig. I know that you have some Native American, and
she's on the Irish-German side.
And I was about to say, I wish you had said that actually, because I wanted to validate you even more. I was about to say she's doing an Irish jig. That's why I was starting to say, I know you have some Native American, but I didn't know anything Irish, but she's doing an Irish jig. And she's a delight to be with. Also, I never imagined your mom as old, but she's appearing quite old to me.
She was in her 80s,
Oh, I didn't know that. I was thinking
yeah.
she was younger.
No.
And
of course,
Yeah, and
Yeah, she was 88, I guess.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that. So she lived a long life, and so she's here, and I feel so much lightness from her.
Oh, Nicole, thank you for that message. It's so confirming.
Good.
She passed about 6 months ago or so to the other side, and she was not ever able to, she never had tools. She never had the people around her to share, to teach her. She never had the support.
Yeah.
She never had the tools. And she's such a beautiful human, and she just did not have the tools and or support in any way. It was really so, you could say sad, but after she passed, she and I have hit we've hit our highest and best point of our entire lives together. It's so fun to be around her. She's so sweet.
She's so sweet.
I know. And
I
she
can actually
dropped
smell
all the judgments of me when I could tell they were gone. I'm like, oh, you're here. Just you and me. It's just you and me. Oh my God. Yes. It's just us. We have had the very best time since then.
So beautiful.
A friend of mine said on my birthday, oh, it must be hard without your mom here, an old friend. I said, you know what? This is the best birthday I've ever had with my mom.
Oh.
We are so light and happily in love.
I love that for you and for her.
Both of us.
Oh.
We walk on the Sea of Galilee together and talk. She's so beautiful now to me, But anyway, that's enough about me.
Beautiful.
That was so sweet. And of course you were right on. And of course you don't know what I just told you about her. You hadn't heard that part, I don't think. But anyway.
Yeah, I do want to share two more things that she's sharing.
Please.
She keeps pulling out freshly baked cinnamon rolls from the oven. So I can smell the cinnamon. I can smell the sweetness. And she's like, this is like my soul. I'm savory and sweet. So that's one thing. And then also she has a carpet bag. Those traveling old carpet bags? And she says she's about to travel.
Oh.
So she wants you to know that when you reach out to her, sometimes you may not feel her for a little bit, but know that she gets the messages and that she will circle back around. She's about to go through a evolution.
That's great.
And so just let you know, and she has her carpet bag with her.
That's totally
like
her.
that suitcase.
The old-fashioned. The old-fashioned suitcase. That was actually made of carpet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she said, please keep reaching out. She will get the messages. She's just going through she's about to go through a significant expansion.
That's beautiful. I knew she was on her way toward a beautiful healing process. So yay for us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was totally unplanned and totally beautiful.
And I want to say, like, you so beautifully role modeled right then, or shared, that when people cross over, we can still continue growing our relationship with them.
Oh.
So my father crossed over 11 years ago, and we continue to work on our stuff.
Wow.
And heal certain things. So when I would say, Dad, I'm wanting to heal X, Y, and Z. Are you available for it? And then his spirit gets to say yes or no. Mm-hmm. Now, he was every time. And he would come in and I would like, hey, I want to process more of this stuff. I know we've worked on it before, but maybe with you on the other side, it'll get different perspectives. And so we've been able to heal a lot. And he also helps me in my sessions for many years when I would call in the spirits and helpers. If my dad showed up without me calling him, I knew that the person I'm working with was either severely depressed or had mental health challenges, and like long-term mental health challenges. They were an alcoholic or they were an addict.
Which was what
because that was my dad.
Yeah.
And so he would be there to help me guide with what
through
the
those
person might
similar
need.
issues.
Yeah. Or actually, he would guide me. Yeah. To help the client. And so it was very helpful when he'd come in. I'd know, like, oh, just from his presence. Thanks, Dad. That gives me some insight for the client.
Oh, my heart is so warm and full hearing that. And I've had a relationship with her, but I hadn't even thought of having that detailed of a relationship and asking for help on specific things, or that she could come in on specific things.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited about my mom and I.
Yay! I'm so glad.
It's
how different than,
so,
say, 8 months ago.
It is. And
different.
It's so different. Like, it was upon her death, I learned more about her than I'd ever known. And after her death, we've had a most wonderful relationship we've ever had. Like times a million, really. I mean, really, it's so different. It's just incredible.
Just a night and day difference. Mm-hmm. I also want to acknowledge the people who might be hearing this and going, I wish I had that with my mom or my grandma or my uncle or whoever's crossed over, and I don't feel or hear them. So I want to acknowledge.
What do you want to say to them? What do you want to say to those humans?
To keep on. To keep on talking with them, to keep on making their favorite food on their birthday. Yeah. My grandma loved those cheap cherry cordials that you get at Christmas, like Victoria's or something, like they're 99 cents, right? She loved them. I buy them every Christmas, wrap them, put them under the Christmas tree in honor of my grandma.
Yeah.
I buy the cherry sour candies because my dad loved them. So on his birthday or maybe Christmas time, I will buy them. Keep doing those things that is some kind of connection for the person you love.
Beautiful.
And call them in, even if you may not feel them. I will say almost guarantee, I cannot guarantee, but almost guarantee that they are connecting with each of you in their own ways.
Yeah.
And to remember when we're in our human plane and you and I can see you, I can touch you, I can hear you. If I put my mouth on you, I can taste you, or smell you, smell your lovely hair, whatever it might be. When people cross over, the communication's different. We can't hear them with our ears. We can't see them with our eyes. So the communication style shifts. And so people might get messages through nature, a lot through nature. They might find a feather. Everyone finds feathers on the ground, but then you find this one feather and you go, I just know this is from my grandma.
Yeah.
Those 50 feathers before, they were just feathers.
Yes.
But this feather's from my grandma.
You just know.
Right? Or the hummingbird, or someone gives you sunflowers, and you just know that's from your daughter who crossed over.
Yeah.
And so from nature, from songs, from billboards, from electronics, like a song might come, you rarely ever listen to the radio because everyone's on Spotify or YouTube. You turn the radio on and an Elvis song comes on. And your grandfather loved Elvis, and you just know, like Blue Suede Shoes that's from your grandfather.
Yeah, and what I want to add into that is if you have that quick, fast thought or perception, what we are trained to do by this culture is to go, oh, that wasn't anything. Screw it. Forget it. But no, I want to send the message, don't let that go. Don't let that go. If you see that feather and you just know it's from mom, it's from mom. Just let it be. You know, we saw also at really specific times, my sisters and I each had a rainbow. I came home, there was a double rainbow, and the rainbow was ending in my house.
Wow.
That right when we were going through all of it and everything. So now whenever one of us see a rainbow, we're like, there's Mom right there saying hi to us. It's an example of the nature.
Yeah.
I want to add one other tiny thing in, which is I'm an advocate of finding some still moments. Because I feel like in our culture, we're moving so fast. And I do it too, where I might go through a day and there's not a quiet moment, because I will turn on some music, sound, or voice talking or video, even on my, breaks, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's just constant noise, and then I go to bed. That's it. And that doesn't give space for our loved ones to speak with us. And when I get the most information is when I'm in a very still place, and I just create the space. And if I say, hey, Mom, what's going on? Then I don't want to just keep doing things. I want to stop. And I get quiet for a moment and listen. That's when it would happen. So that's something I feel like, gosh, that's not encouraged in our culture. We're just all going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with you. And I have a very, very full life, and I can go. And so for me, how I made sure that I get those quiet times is I'm like, I'm going to schedule it in. So it's on my calendar, or it's on it. And then now I don't need to schedule it in. But that's just how I integrated it back in. I used to have a lot of quiet time. And then with Netflix and YouTube and all the things on our cell phones, all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I went a whole day and I didn't have quiet time. So I realized, like, where would I naturally have quiet time?
Without a bunch of machines and things.
Without forcing myself to have quiet time.
Yeah.
And it's in the morning. I wake up before my boyfriend, and my body wakes up at 7:30 every morning. It's like, boom, just wakes up. So I go downstairs, I make myself a cup of tea, and I go outside on my back porch. And that's it. And so that's a natural, easy way where I have quiet time and nature talks to me. This morning, it was the woodpeckers who were talking to me. Not the literal woodpeckers, but the messages that I received from them, or just watching them. And so the encouragement of, where is a natural, easy place for someone to have their quiet time? It's like when I was married years ago, my husband used to take off his clothes, his dirty clothes, and put them on the floor, not where the laundry basket was. And I would say, hey, will you please put them in laundry? Hey, will you please look? And he wouldn't. So I moved the laundry basket
to right where he would drop them anyway.
And I took the lid off. So that's his natural place of taking his clothes off.
That's a beautiful example.
And there's
example.
No lid. I wanted the lid on, but I'm like, that's not going to work for him. He will not lift the lid. So that was great. And that helped me in my life go, well, where does something naturally fit in? Where does it naturally fit in to do the dishes? Is it right after the meal? Is it right before bed? Is it the next day in the morning? Where's the natural thing?
Nice.
And so for me, the natural thing for quiet time is in the morning.
Natural cycles.
Yeah.